Yes,
Okay.
and the recording has started.
Okay. Well, welcome. Thank you for coming to our virtual open house for the MetraPark Entryway Beautification Project. This is going to be a brief overview of the project and where we are at. This is a meeting primarily for public and public comment, and I will inform you of how you can add public comments as we progress. So the project vision is to create a strong visual presence along the perimeter of MetraPark to enhance it as a gateway to Billings and to improve the safety and connectivity for visitors in the community. And with that, I want everyone to understand that this Entryway Beautification project is just one component of a larger master plan that is undergoing currently for MetraPark. So we are only looking at the perimeter and nothing that happens on the interior. So the overall project goals is a comprehensive vision for the perimeter and entries that includes access and circulation improvements for vehicles, pedestrians, and cyclists. So it includes gateway and directional signage, trees and landscaping, fencing, sidewalk upgrades, lighting, and public art. Whatever we do needs to be compliant with MDT rules and regulations, and there are projects we are coordinating with. The project area is outlined here in red. It's along First Avenue North from the Yellowstone River to Main Street and continuing on Main Street to Bench Boulevard. Some related projects that we are keeping in mind as we move forward with this is, of course, the overall MetraPark Master Plan, the First Avenue North and Exposition intersection improvements, the potential future pedestrian bridge at 3rd Avenue on Main Street, and the 5th Avenue North corridor feasibility study. So what is the current character of the perimeter and why are we addressing this in the project? So existing conditions really show a lack of identity for the fairgrounds when you approach from this is from the east, excuse me. So there's an opportunity for an iconic monument and landscaping, and also opportunities to connect to the Jim Dutcher Trail so that you can continue to the parks to the east and then to the future 5th Avenue corridor project. The current entry points kind of lack identity and are hard to find when you're traveling along the street. So there's opportunities to create a gateway, include pedestrian amenities, and greater identification and identity. As you continue west, this is looking at where there's a potential new entry gate. Currently, there is only fencing there, but we're looking at how the sidewalk is narrow, lacks protection from traffic, lack of shade, lack of pedestrian amenities, and the fencing is institutional and unattractive, and you can't really find your way into the future entry. As you continue going around the corner, here we're looking at First and Exposition, where there is proposed street widening and improvements here. This creates an opportunity for an iconic MetraPark sign and landscaping, again, to give it an entry feature with a large monument that would identify this as a gateway to Billings. Again, there's a narrow sidewalk with lack of protection from traffic, and there's no pedestrian scale elements. As we continue on Main Street towards Bench Boulevard, again, narrow sidewalk with lack of protection from traffic. There's going to be a loss of trees due to the road widenings. We will want to look at increasing shade again. Here's the location at 3rd Avenue for the potential pedestrian overpass bridge. The existing entry at 4th is another opportunity for an iconic MetraPark sign and landscape feature to keep continuity with all the entry points. Improved wayfinding into the fairgrounds is also an opportunity here, and improvements to the pedestrian streetscape. And then as you continue towards Bench Boulevard, there's a lack of landscape and visual interest. Again, the sidewalk is narrow with a lack of protection. And then this location would end the secure fencing of the project. So what are the opportunities we're looking at? So from some prior meetings, we've identified two main vehicular entry points into the Fairgrounds Park. At one, which would be west of the existing gate into the new parking lot, and one would be at 4th Avenue. We would look at improving these with large gateways, monumentation sign, and wayfinding signage. There's the opportunity along the entire street frontage to improve sidewalks, pedestrian security, safe fencing and attractive fencing, and create a strong identity. We also identified at 2 points monument signage and landscape improvements, primarily to create a strong identity for MetraPark and also as the gateway into Billings. So some of the opportunities we're looking at for street frontage is boulevard pedestrian safety measures, such as fencing, bollards, and boulders. And this would also include detaching the sidewalk from the street for safety, looking at shade trees and planting, and having clear pedestrian crosswalks at entries. So on the top image, you'll see the existing section along the road. There's roughly a 4-foot sidewalk and a small setback to the existing fencing at MetraPark. The dashed red line indicates what we understand to be the current right-of-way and the current fencing location. One proposed section alternative increases a boulevard to 5 feet and a sidewalk to a minimum of 10 feet, which would allow safe pedestrian access in both directions for bicycles and pedestrians, to have secure fencing, and beyond that, landscapes such as shade trees to provide a pedestrian scale amenity. A second proposed street section increases the boulevard to 10 feet to allow for some landscaping and some safety measures such as bollards or boulders to protect from vehicles. Again, a minimum 10-foot sidewalk with attractive and secure fencing and landscape. Here's an existing view on Main Street. And here is a rough sketch of what this could look like with improving the streetscape with a boulevard, wider sidewalks, and fencing. On 1st Avenue North, looking back towards the Yellowstone River, existing condition, and potential proposed condition with increased boulevard, increased sidewalk, and fencing. So along with the improvements there, we're looking at thematic concepts of what could tie all the exterior together and hopefully fit in with some of the interior improvements being proposed. What you see here are some options we are proposing for potential character of the entry gateways that would enter into the fairgrounds. After this presentation, we are going to be putting up on our website some opportunities for survey where you can comment and suggest alternatives or vote on what imagery you like. So here we have traditional, which is used in many downtowns and fairgrounds, transitional lighted, which is a more contemporary type image, a rustic ranch, and a railroad industrial, since it does tie in with some of the railroad themes. For the monumentation at the corners where we would want to identify the park, but not have it as an entry gateway, similar monumentation ideas, which would highlight both it as a Billings gateway and the MetraPark itself. We have similar styled monuments here with industrial, rustic ranch, or a modern ranch theme. Fencing is going to be a major component of this project, and it needs to be both secure and attractive. And we're looking at some alternatives that incorporate both masonry with metal fencing, with some potential art panels that could highlight the entries to reinforce the character of MetraPark. Including wayfinding into the entries is another key component so that you can direct people if they're going to the north or the south entry. And we're looking at ways that we can identify each entry point through numbers, iconography with animals or other imagery. And this is just some ideas of what we could do with that. And finally, like I said, there's going to be an opportunity for public comment. We have a project website hosted by Sanderson Stewart where this presentation and a survey will be posted tomorrow that you can comment on what you would like to see at the perimeter of MetraPark and any additional ideas that you may have. So thank you, and I'm going to stop sharing. And if you have any comments or questions, please use the chat and we can comment there. And if there are no comments or questions at this time, I encourage you to have anyone you know who is interested in this project visit our website for additional information and opportunity for public comment. Since in these times of COVID, it is difficult to have open houses where we can actually visit with each other.
Erin, could you just quickly share your screen again with the website?
Yes, absolutely.
Location again, and just leave, and we could just maybe leave that up for people to find, and then also for others who may be watching the recording be able to find as well. And I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, but if you have any or you'd like to make a comment, you can also just put a note in the chat and we can see that.
So there you should see the website link once again.
I'm just seeing the front.
Oh, sorry. I have two screens up.
There
we go.
Great, thank you.
And if there are no questions or comments at this time, you are welcome to leave the presentation. Like I said, I wanted to be respectful of your lunchtime, and we will have this posted up shortly.